is neither broken nor dysfunctional. That is the word from Public Enterprises Minister Gordhan. Opposition parties today slammed Eskom and government for not heeding their suggestions to increase energy supply and stabilise the grid. eNCA reporter Lindsay Dentling has been following that debate. She joins us now. Lindsay, this is such a hot potato issue and people are getting angrier and angrier. The IFP today has introduced this debate at a time when we are right in the middle of load shedding. What arguments did they advance?
So, Sally, it's just coincidental that this debate is taking place at the time of load shedding. Gordhan asking Parliament to hold this debate in March already, and so it just came at the time where we are facing load shedding again. But it's also the second time in 2 days that this issue is before the National Assembly. Yesterday, Minister Gordhan having to answer questions on Eskom. But by and large, opposition parties all not happy that Eskom and government just taking, in their view, too long to introduce alternative energy supply. Gordhan from the IFP saying the country was making use of archaic coal-fired power stations and archaic ways of producing energy. He also said that the board was, in his view, sitting on their hands and not taking important decisions, while the DA, for example, took issue with all the onerous decisions that need to be taken to allow independent power producers to feed into the grid, and they're really calling for government to cut the red tape to allow them to be able to produce this form of energy a lot quicker than they have been. The EFF, on the other hand, called for government to engage in talks with China to introduce a new nuclear build project, and so really a variety of measures that the opposition party saying they have time and time again pleaded with government and Eskom to consider their proposals, but this is just not happening. But let's take a listen to the IFP's Gordhan, who introduced the debate, incidentally also the SCOPA chairperson, who just very recently conducted oversight visits to Eskom's newest power plants.
Eskom has become a national and international embarrassment since 2007. In homes and businesses across the country, South Africans are standing by waiting for real accountability, yet there seems to be a laissez-faire approach by government when it comes to consequence management at this entity. Instead, year on year, this house ends up rubber stamping billions in bailouts. During the budget, the last budget, the Ministry of Finance stated, and I quote, "Government has committed to providing financial support to assist Eskom's debt service obligations with an additional 21.9 billion rands allocated for this in 2022-2023.
Yeah, and of course the issue of Busi Mavuso, board member, who spoke out very strongly about the ANC's role, and Gordhan, who we've just heard, shouting her down later, apologising for the way he handled that. But that issue obviously came up. So what was said?
Well, it came up in the greater context of opposition parties again saying that the ANC wasn't taking enough responsibility for the issues of the past and looking
influence its proceedings. Rather rich, considering that ANC party politics blocked an investigation into comments by the President in February. What is terribly ironic is that with the latest installment of the Zondo Commission, everything Ms. Mavuso said is true. Not only was Eskom looted of almost 15 billion rand, the ANC also deployed malleable persons to the Eskom board and appointed executives to allow state capture. This particular criminal enterprise is at the basis of what is wrong with Eskom. And the ANC wishes to ignore the voices of South Africans, when in truth the real problem in this country is the criminal network known as the ANC and their obsession with the looter continua.
And Lindsay, I was wondering why Stage 8 has been trending on Twitter, and it is, of course, about what Gordhan said yesterday, basically saying that it could be a risk. Tell us a little bit about that and what he had to say today.
So yesterday he answered his questions from a virtual platform. Today he was in fact in the House itself to face MPs head on, again also to face criticism that some parties feel that the President and government are not being strong enough, coming out with a statement, as you pointed out earlier. Many South Africans are very irritated by this latest round of load shedding, and that they should be making be firmer about where they stand on this matter. And Pravin Gordhan did just that today, saying the ANC was not shirking what had come out in the Zondo Commission. He was also not shirking the issues of the past, but he said South Africans had to be a little bit more supportive of Eskom, and that behind the scenes there was a lot of work going on that we are not privy to and that we don't see, to reform Eskom. And in fact, he was saying that the power utility is neither broken nor dysfunctional, and Sally promising that in 10 years from now we will see a reformed Eskom, and it will be one that is unrecognizable from the one that we know today. And so Pravin Gordhan said not all ANC members or ministers are thugs, as he put it, and that they were doing their very best not only to own up to the problems of the past, but to fix them.
It is this ANC administration, starting in 2018, that takes the responsibility to ensure that in time there will be energy security and that it will transform Eskom. We take the responsibility for whatever has been done, but we will cure whatever has been done, given the time and the effort that we will put in. We will tell you what the root causes of the problem are, not the kind of language that you've heard until now in this debate. We have a clear plan to sort out these root causes, although it will take time. And like the public, we are also impatient and want to see results and an end to load shedding. We know that some processes to introduce new investment in generation can move faster, and this too is receiving our attention.
Yeah, and of course, Lindsay, we can't forget that in the Eskom part of the state capture report, Pravin Gordhan and Mcebisi Jonas around treasury issues were named as two ministers, deputy minister, who were not involved in state capture and who tried to fight those efforts. So hearing from the minister today, very interesting indeed. Thank you so much for chatting to us. That, of course, is Lindsay Dentlinger in Cape Town.